A Richard from Gloucester was walking.
At a field known as Bosworth he strolled, and his heart was all thumping and beating for the monarchy he had enrolled. As he ambled through bracken and gorse, bush and scrub, a handmaiden cried, "Look here, ducky, you can't find a horse, so the answer, of course, is a Porter's better-proof bucky." Porter's, Porter's, Porter's better-proof bucky. Scoop-up-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-up.
Mrs. Mary?
Rita, you're just in time, my God. I'm just busy topping up the pot here.
Yes, well, I couldn't get any cabbages, you know. The prices have gone right out of sight.
Oh, I know the whole thing is really getting, it's getting that way now that one really truly can't afford even to eat anymore. Anyway, my child, sit down here. Just in time. I was just topping up the pot. You like black, don't you?
Thanks, Mrs. Mary. What are your plans for today?
Well, I really don't know. I was supposed to go and attend that beetle drive that they were organizing in Ferndale, but I don't know now, because I also promised Esme that I would go along with her to Voter's Place to watch that television. They got this lovely opera thing on this evening. So,
Talking about what's on, isn't Mr. Orchid on the radio?
Oh, yes, he's on the radio doing those traffic report things. Yes, we'll get the little portable. Wait, where is it?
Here it is, over here.
Yes, no, we must hear this. Yes, have you got enough sugar there?
Thanks very much. I'll just...
Put it on, let's hear.
Well, this is Cat Orchid here behind the microphone, and we're here to see on Radio Lowveld that you get home safe and sound. And before crossing for our next traffic report, let me just tell you right now that this is brought to you by the makers of Votemere Ranuncular Patent Medicines. And it's over to Henny in the helicopter. Over to you, Henny.
It's not actually Henny, it's Frankie here.
Oh, hello, Frank.
At the moment we are flying over Rustenburg.
Where?
Rustenburg.
Rustenburg.
That's right. I can't see any immediate traffic problems. There's hardly a car on the road at the moment. So with that, back to you, Frank.
But, Henny. Henny.
Hello? With that, back to you in the studio, Frank.
Right. Well, there we had our traffic report from Henny, who seems to have sort of lost himself. I think he's flying over the wrong area. Anyway, sore throat, inflamed adenoids, carbuncles, or ingrown toenails, whatever the problem, leave it to the healing properties of Votemere Ranuncular Patent Medicines, available from Private Bag 3, the Riddersholt, Transvaal. And, while we're waiting for the next traffic report, let's have a little bit of music, please, Harry. Thank you. And I think I got cut off there for a moment. Yes, let me tell you now, the time is now 4:25 on Radio Lowveld. Nice little bit of music there, nice and snappy. And if you're driving in the car, take it easy. Don't forget to smile at each other, at the robots, and wave if possible. Friendship and friendliness is what counts these days on these ultra-fast highways of ours. But, of course, don't forget to observe the speed limits. And it's going to be another traffic report brought to you by the makers of Votemere Ranuncular Patent Medicines. So it's over to Henny in the helicopter.
It's Frankie.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Yes, sorry, Fricky, come in.
Well, we were flying over Rustenburg. I was trying to find one of the main arterials. But unfortunately, I couldn't see any. I think we might have been given the wrong flight plan and are actually flying over the wrong area. But anyway, I can tell
carry on because what is most important is we must have the reports over Johannesburg and the main arterials there.
And with that, back to you in the studio, sir.
Well, there you are. I hope Fricky's going to be feeling a lot better. I keep thinking that it's Henny up there, but it's Fricky. Anyway, Frick, we hope that you're going to be feeling a lot better. And we'll be awaiting your next report when you find Johannesburg, eh? Well, sore throats, inflamed adenoids, carbuncles, or ingrown toenails, whatever the problem, leave it to the healing properties of Votamare ranuncular patent medicines, available from Private Bag 3, the Ritz Transvaal. And a little bit more music before we go over again to the helicopter. The time is now 4:27. Oh, well, that one came to a sort of an abrupt halt. And anyway, with the time at 4:27 3/4, we now cross back to Fricky in the helicopter, and this road report, traffic report, is brought to you by the makers of Votamare ranuncular patent medicines. Over to you, Fricky. Yeah?
Because I think when the helicopter was put in for service this morning, they forgot to sharpen the blades or something. So we're having quite a rough ride at the moment. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're here.
We've left Rustenburg now, just flying over the veld, and I can't see any traffic at all here. We're trying to approach some sort of central area. The pilot here, I can't communicate with the pilot. His face is white. It's something wrong with the rotors, you know.
No, but now listen. We must get the news. It's vitally important on our main arterials.
I just would like to send a message to Susan, my cousin.
But you can't send
Also,
messages.
Barry,
No, but this is not a request program.
for army training.
No, man, Fricky, man,
If I
now,
don't
look.
see you again, just
Now,
remember
listen,
that
Fricky, this is not fair, because
was
really and truly, you know, this is not a request program, and this is the first shift that they've given me on the station
Oh,
here this afternoon, and now you're just messing the whole thing up.
Barry and Susan. Sorry, Dad, I won't take long. Barry and Susan. What I think,
Hello?
what must I do now?
Listen,
Barry and Susan, remember that I left the money for you in the coffee pot on the third shelf.
no, listen here.
Because we're having a very rough time. You can't even find the city.
No, listen here.
And with that, back to you, sir.
No, but no, that's not fair. Now, you leave me, anyway, all right, yes, yeah, well, that traffic report was brought to you by Votamare's ranuncular patent medicines. And now at the time at 4:29, here's some more music. Don't forget to observe the speed limits and drive carefully.
The SABC presents The In-Depth Interview. Tonight, we have great pleasure in presenting Barbara McFadden in conversation with ex-King Mortimer I, the recent ruler of the Kingdom of Barathwata, a small colony in the Indian Ocean, his views on the monarchy in general and the South African way of life. Barbara McFadden.
Well, I'm not quite sure whether I address you as Your Majesty or not.
It would be preferred.
I would guess not. How long is it since you've been deposed?
Well, it's 77 years. The military coup, as you know, they overthrew my system, took place in 1968. The monarchy, as such, was overthrown by a military coup headed by General Pong Ping, who is now the president of Barathwata.
So very few people seem to know about Ferret's Water.
Well, in the days of my father, that was King Terence, I think Barrett's Water was a lot better known to South Africa because of the much stronger trade agreements. But I think also that for some reason Barrett's Water was not a very popular place in South Africa as far as tourism was concerned, simply because it was a little out of the way.
And do you still consider yourself a monarch, a king? Do you still feel like a king?
Good heavens, yes, yes. This is something you're born to, and there is no possible way that I can ever regard myself as not being. As far as I am concerned, I'm still the king of Barrett's Water.
And why have you come to live in South Africa?
Well, after the coup in '68, General Pong Ping allowed me to go and live in France, where I spent quite a number of years, well, up until fairly recently. And I've been given an allowance by the present government. But unfortunately, the allowance has become smaller and smaller. And I decided to move to South Africa because you have a very much more finer cost of living structure. And I felt that this was the country. I had come here, I remember visiting here in 1938 with my late wife, that was Queen Bertha. And I remembered that we had always been treated extremely well here. And I'm staying actually on the property of a rather well-known personality, Mr. Vertemerer, who has a cottage on the property, and I'm renting it from him.
I see. Well, that must be very interesting. Do you
I've had a lot of palaces, as you might well know, and priceless artworks. But of course, it's all been taken.
And do you still have your robes and crown jewels?
Well, I managed to bring out a few trunks, but I have one of the crowns still with me, which I intend to wear when I return to Barrett-Water.
May I ask you, I suppose I address you as Mortimer, or...
Your Majesty would be preferred.
Have you come into contact with any well-known statesmen around the world?
Well, yes, of course. I've met most of them, I suppose. I enjoyed the company of President Kennedy numerous occasions. I remember Lyndon Johnson. And, of course, going back through the years, I mean, Winston Churchill and I were very great friends. Yes, well, obviously, in my position, I would have met a number of people.
Do you find that there's a feeling of being let down somehow now that you're deposed?
Well, I suppose I can thank my sense of humor for preserving within me some form of understanding, in as much as, I mean, I'm not alone. You know, the world is full of ex-monarchs who are living in exile somewhere or another, and so I don't feel exactly alone in this world, but...
Yes, and how do people react to Mr. Mortimer? Do they sort of feel that perhaps in some ways you're a phony?
But no ways. I mean, people realize, I think it's immediately observed that I am obviously a man of regal bearing and nobility, such. Although I must confess that with my allowance now from Barrett-Water being reduced to almost nothing, I received a money order the other day. I think it was R2.50 as far as South African currency is concerned, because of the very, very high rate of inflation in Barrett-Water. So it is becoming increasingly more difficult to retain the image, shall we say. I thought that as they had no longer any interest in things like the golden coaches and so on, I had the most magnificent golden coach, white plumes, feathers, and I thought, well, they might consider sending it over to me because they weren't.
And now, Drama School of the Air. Every week at this time, world-famous South African players allow you, the listener, to drop in on a final dress rehearsal of world-famous plays. Tonight, the world of Shakespeare.
Well, I've got news for you all this evening. We're going to do some Shakespeare.
Oh, that's nice, Walter. Which one are we doing?
I'm not actually all that sure. It's... yes, here we are. Richard the Third.
The SABC presents The Tragedy of Richard III. Is that all right?
Who's that? Oh, no, not you. No, get him out of that control studio. I'm not having you in here.
No point in getting me out of here. I'm running all these things.
That's what I was afraid of. Now, you listen here, Martin.
Frederick.
Well, Frederick, just listen to me. If you can't operate the controls, then please get out of here, will you, please? I don't want to mess up like last.
No need to get aggressive, Mr. Maria. I am trying after all.
Well, that's not good enough for me, Frederick. We're doing Shakespeare, and Shakespeare is Shakespeare, as some well-known poet was once quoted.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
The SABC presents The Tragedy of Richard III.
Now, it says here, scene 1, London, street.
Yes, we know that, but you don't say that. That's simply a stage direction.
No, it doesn't matter. I'll just give you the necessary background.
Oh, crying in a bucket. You can't blame modern-day traffic when we need a street in London centuries ago. Carry... I don't know if I've got the strength to reach a telephone and call the police to get him out of here. That's right, you forget so well that you've gone right out of sight, haven't you?
Well, look, don't worry.
The Tragedy of Richard III.
No music. I mean, no traffic, for heaven's sake.
Right, okay, don't worry.
Oh, come on, Walter. Get on with it now.
Right, just wait for the music, please. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the sun of York and all the clouds.
Wait a minute, isn't that my part? Aren't I supposed to be Richard?
Don't be ridiculous, Herr. I'm the lead in this.
Oh, I see. All the good parts are for you all of a sudden, eh?
Oh, this is ridiculous. Look, do you want to play Richard, then?
Well, who is Richard?
Richard is the third by William Shakespeare. That's what we're doing now on the radio.
You know, you're such a fussy old... Well, you do it then.
Of course I'll do it then. And you, Herr, will play Clarence. No, cut that music, Frederick. Frederick, cut. Now, you listen to me, Frederick. You play that music only when I tell you. Do you understand?
Yes, all right, but you must give me some sort of signal when I must start and stop.
You just watch me for a sign. Please!
So will you please tell me, voter, what am I playing?
I've told you, you are Clarence.
Clarence! But that's such a fussy old sissy name.
Well, I can't help that. Do you want me to go and argue with William Shakespeare?
I'll get in touch with him. What's his number?
Yeah, really, please. We have enough troubles and hassles and traumas with Mexico and Texas and Central Africa without this when we're trying to do something cultural here. No, not yet, Frederick. Will you listen to what I tell you? No, give me strength.
Cool it, voter. Now, come on, get on with the play.
All right. I'll start with the often quoted opening speech from Gloucester. Do you think you might be ready, Frederick? Frederick?
Yes, I'm ready and waiting.
Right. Here we go. Off you go, Frederick.
The SABC presents The Tragedy of Richard III.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lured upon our house, in the deep bosom of our ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms hung up for moments.
That's very good, voter.
Oh, quiet! Shut up, men! Our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front.
His wrinkled front? Why is his front wrinkled?
Ah, Davy, don't be ridiculous. This is a recording now, please. Shut up, please.
Oh, all right, there's no need to get all carried away.
And now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the less spacious pleasing of a lute.
Now, where do I come in?
Do you really think we would win the Pulitzer Prize for this?
What's the Pulitzer Prize?
I don't know, but whatever it is, you wouldn't win it with all these interruptions. We are trying to do a recording.
Yes, but what about my part?
Oh, all right. I suppose if I don't, I'll have interruptions all the time. Right, now, do you remember your cue?
My cue? Have I now got to line up for this or something?
No, the words I say to which you reply, that means cue.
To which I reply what?
Oh, how could I have cast you in this hat?
Man, with all these fancy words like cue and cast, sounds like we're fishing on a billiard table.
Cat, now, listen to me, please. What you have to do is say your speech when I am finished mine. And you have to know when your speech begins.
That's right. I have to know that, dearly.
Yes. So your speech begins when my speech ends.
So when does your speech end?
There, Cat, look, you don't even have to learn the words as per or have one like a stage play. You just watch until you see Clarence and then you carry on.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. Let's get to that part where it says Clarence.
You're messing it all up now, you know. I'll keep having to go back.
And you just be quiet, please. You're very lucky to be on the show in the first place. Right, now, here, just watch the text, please.
All right. Come on, carry on. Let's just get some action happening here.
And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be viewed up about a prophecy which says that he of Edward's heirs, the murderer, shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here comes Clarence.
Right. Now it's me. Entered Clarence Garden and Brackenbury. Who's Brackenbury?
You don't read the stage directions. I told you that, Clark.
Oh, all right. Now, wait a minute. So now I'm Clarence Garden, aren't I?
You are Clarence, yes, and you've got gods. Now say your speech trippingly off the tongue.
Right. His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, has appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower. what cause? Because my name is George. Wait a minute, I thought my name was Clarence.
Just go on with the script.
All right, oh, it's your line.
Right, yeah. Alas, my lord, that fault is none of yours. He should, for that, commit your godfathers. Oh, now, what are they supposed to be?
They're probably the godfathers. All the mafia in one big squadron.
Stop those horses! Stop! Cut that record! Now you listen to me, Frederick. Get out of that control room.
No, I was only trying to add a little something with that sound effect, Mr. Miller. Those were meant to be the gods.
I'll give you one more chance. One more chance.
Thanks.
Stand by now. Ready? Oh, no, not back to the beginning. We'll pick up from where we left up.
Oh, you mean from me? Right. Oh, belike His Majesty has some intent that you should be new christened in the tower.
Oh, Herr, you've taken my lines again.
What do you mean? I'm sure it's the first time I've taken it. Anyway, I quite fancy playing your part.
Oh, no. I knew I shouldn't have started this thing in the first place. I knew it. It's just no good, Herr.
But it's going well, Mr. Miller.
Quiet, Frederick, please.
Well, look, Walter, can't we get to that part where he says, a horse, my kingdom for your horse?
No. We'll wait and do something else next time. Enid Blyton or something, or anything for that matter.
No, it's not all that bad. I mean, we started off with just sound effects.